That means 2,200 years ago, long ago, right? When the Romans came here, they realized that this was a very special place because that mountain was already protected and surrounded by a river. That river that goes around the city, it's called Tajo, spelled T-A-J-O, right? That is also the longest river in the Iberian Peninsula. It's 1,008 kilometers long. Peninsula, before they came, everything was countryside. So maybe when they came, they found millions of rabbits, all right? Okay, so now we are beginning to surround the old town, following the path the river follows. Sí, aquí luego para recogeros, porque hay las escaleras mecánicas que bajan de la plaza y aquí es buen sitio. So, the viewing point is in the south side. That you will see that's the nicest view of Toledo. And in a moment, to your left, you're going to see one of the two historical bridges we keep in town. This one is called Alcántara Bridge, right? I'm talking about this one to your left. The towers today, the towers of the bridge are very different, right? The one that is closer to us, that's a medieval one, dating back to the Middle Ages, that's Gothic style. But the other tower right there, that is Baroque, dating back to the 18th century. And the reason why we can see different styles in the bridge is because that bridge has been destroyed many times throughout the history by battles, even by a flood in the river. So today we can see different styles, all right? It's a crazy mix, like the rest of the city, you'll see, right? Okay, you know, the Romans stayed here for a long time, 6 centuries, 600 years, until the year 411, when some tribes came from the very north of Europe. They were called the Visigoths. They were kind of barbarian tribes, right? And although they occupied the whole Iberian Peninsula, the entire Iberian Peninsula, they established the capital of that kingdom in Toledo. This city became the capital of the Visigothic kingdom, so it was the most important city in the Iberian Peninsula for 3 centuries, since the year 411 till the year 711. Most important city, right? Actually, that kingdom was known as the Visigothic Kingdom of Toledo, right? That was the name, okay? Right after them, in the 8th century, early 8th century, they were the Moors, the Muslims that came here, right? And obviously they changed the name of the city because they used Arab language, right? So the Arab name of Toledo was Tulay Tula. Tula y Tula. Tulay Tula. It's like a pretty strange composed word that means alive place, alive city. It makes sense because before it was a capital, so there was an important population, it was a very alive city. Right? Take a look at the view. We're going up there where we can see that building at the top of that mountain, that's where the viewing point is, right? So we're gonna stop in there for a few minutes. Guys, take a look. What do you think about that? I don't hear you. Say something. Come on.
See.
Lovely, right? In a moment, anyway, we're taking a break at the viewing point for a few minutes. Maybe you can have some fresh air. It's gonna help, right? But you can see that it looks like a labyrinth. You know, the entire city, the whole city it was declared a World Heritage Site by the UNESCO in 1986. So it's not only the cathedral or any important monument, but the whole city is UNESCO. That is for sale. It's an internet. You know how much it cost? 7 million euros. Oh. I'm talking about the first one right here with the cypresses. Imagine the view from over there. You have tennis court, you have swimming pools, and really big properties. As you can imagine, I don't live in any of them. I'm trying to day by day, but it's not easy. Feel better.
It reminds me of the art museum a bit, with other falls coming in, Boathouse Row, that being the electric plant.
Gothic, and this is pretty well preserved, right? So as you can see from this bridge to the other we've seen before, is where we can see the wall right there that is protecting the north side of Toledo. The wall is like 3 kilometers long. There are 7 gates to enter the city, but we cannot tell which century does the wall date back, because the original part dates back to Roman times. They began the construction of the wall. Later on, the Visigoths made it longer. Later on, the Muslims made it longer, and finally the Christians finished the wall in the Middle Ages, right? So it's been built by that people, those cultures throughout centuries. They didn't hang people up there. It's something symbolic. You know, the last kingdom ruled by Muslims until 1492, it was the kingdom of Granada. And the capital of that kingdom was the city of Granada, where the Alhambra is. Maybe you heard about that palace, right? That is the most visited monument in Spain. That means when you go there, you feel like being in Game of Thrones. There are like 500 tiles all around in 3 different designs. Take a look at this one. Can you see that the blue shape looks like the map of the Iberian Peninsula? And Spain and Portugal, you know, it has the shape of a face, right? Portugal is right here. These are the Pyrenees, Africa, Mediterranean Sea, Atlantic Ocean, Europe, right? That is the shape of Spain. And you know, Hebrew must be read from right to left. So if we read what it says Sepharad, ending by D, which is the Hebrew name of the Iberian Peninsula. That's why the descendants of the Jews from the Iberian Peninsula, never mind where they live nowadays, are known as Sephardic Jews, right? Because this territory was called Sepharad by them. So that is, they deformed the letters of that word to make it look like the map of the Iberian Peninsula. So that is one of the tiles that we have tomorrow. It means live, like Lehaim also, and 7, which is a very important number for the Jewish Kabbalah, right? So that is second symbol, and we'll see a third one. Wi-Fi? Looks like Wi-Fi, right?
It looks like a menorah.
You are right. That's the menorah, obviously, the 7-armed chandelier, one of the most important Jewish symbols that was made as a lamp for the first temple of Solomon, just to illuminate the room. It's just a lamp, right? But it's a very important Jewish symbol. And you can see that all the tiles, you know, ceramics are so traditional in Toledo. As soon as we've entered to the old town, a ceramic store. One more here. I mean, it's so traditional here. So in every city in Spain where there was an important Jewish community, you see the symbol, the first one we've seen looking like the map of the Iberian Peninsula, is Saint Sepharad, but it's going to be made of bronze and larger. Like some professions, that's why like there are some sculptures or the rare benches we can see right there, that giant head that belongs to Cervantes, you know who he was? Don Quixote's writer, right, first novel in history. That writer lived in Toledo for some time. Actually, El Greco, the painter, and Cervantes, they were pretty good friends, right? So we'll talk about him. Guys, we're going to see this synagogue instead of the other one. I'm going to tell you why. The other one is the Sephardic National Museum. So there are some spaces with no Jewish items that they use for their rites. But we are in front of the oldest former synagogue in Spain still standing. This building is back to the year 1182, and where there were 12 synagogues in town, this was the major one, the main synagogue. And in my opinion, it's the best example to understand the crazy mixture of styles and cultures in town, because it was a main synagogue, but it was entirely built by Muslims in their own style. So in the inside, it doesn't look like a synagogue at all. It really looks like a mosque. And it was the main synagogue of the most important Sephardic community ever. And now I'm going to tell you the name. Well, it's written over there, Saint Mary the White. So the main synagogue of Toledo looks like a mosque, and it has a Christian name. That's what the city is about. Toledo is like this. So in my opinion, it's a good example to understand that. But honey, right? So traditionally it's made by the nuns in the convents, right? But the convents are getting empty these days. Last year we had 16 and 2 of them closed. So there are a couple of very famous bakeries where they make really good quality marzipan. We're about to pass by the best one. That bakery was opened in 1856 and still today is managed by the 7th generation of exactly the same family. So they make really good quality marzipan. It's so traditional. So we can try that, all right? You know this building right here? Today is a restaurant, it's a private building. But that building used to be, in the 16th century, used to be a little hospital dedicated to Saint Bernardino from Siena. And the architect who designed this building was El Greco's son. Jorge Manuel, the little boy in the camera?
We're entering the Christian quarter of the city.
That is marzipan. We have different types, right? Remember, smashed almonds, sugar, and honey. Something pretty sweet that we don't have every day. For us, it's like for weddings, Christmas, you know, special occasions. There's different types. We have these ones covered with almonds. These ones, which are the most expensive ones, covered with pine nuts, because pine nuts are really expensive. That's my favorite one. Then, like normal figures, and then the most well-known. These ones in here, you can see the name is, they're called delicias. That means delicious. They have the shape of a half moon, and in the inside, they have a little sweet egg yolk in the inside. right? So in case you don't know allergy, I recommend you to try this one. I'm gonna take some for you.
This is a world record. Told you.
Can you see that painting right there has nothing to do with El Greco, right? That style. You know who painted that? My brother.
Really?
Yeah,
That's so
one
cool.
of my brothers. It's true. He's a fine art doctor at Madrid University.
Yeah.
And he painted that, and also that poster that tells about the 7 generations that have managed this bakery. That's made by my brother.
Wow.
He's a like doctor in fine arts at Madrid University. That's my brother, Roberto Campos.
No, you don't eat nuts, but
I like it.
You're recording yourself?
Muy rico. Las delicias.
sí, muy bien. ¿Les gusta? Chicas.
Sí. Imagínate la falta de cultura que tenía de
Very good. That's a 5 out of 5.
primer año que estuve acá.
Is Gothic style building, as I told you, third largest one in the world after the one in Seville, Spain, which is the largest Gothic temple on earth. The one in Milan, Italy. Toledo is the third largest one. It's not one of the highest, but I'm talking about the surface, right? In Spain, Toledo is the second largest. Sevilla, the world third largest. This is the west facade. Never mind where you are in the world. If you see a cathedral, the main facade, the most monumental one, is going to be facing west, always. Because if we see the building from the sky, it is Latin cross shaped. The main chapel, which is considered the head of the temple, is facing east, the feet of the temple facing west, and then the horizontal arm of that Latin cross, something that in architecture is known as a transept, is facing north and south. And it's always like this. So this is west, right? There are 7 gates around. Obviously, like that is the main facade. The main gate, the most important one, is the central one right here. And it has 2 names. It's known as the King's Gate because it's going to be closed unless, sorry, someone very important comes here. That means the Pope, a king, a queen, a president, a cardinal. Otherwise, it's not open. And not nowadays, but long ago, when that door was open for somebody important, it is said that as soon as they crossed that door, their sins were forgiven. So it's called the Forgiveness Gate as well. Maybe they could open it for everybody. Okay, not only for important people.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Regarding the main facade, Gothic style was born in France, but those cathedrals are very symmetric. Everything is based on mathematics, everything is symmetric. So normally when you see the main facade of a Gothic cathedral, normally you're going to see 2 twin towers, like Notre Dame, Chartres, the ones in, everywhere. And here there's only one, that reaches 92 meters high. But why this happened? Because when they had already built the basement of this tower, afterwards they discovered some underground caverns with a little water down there. It was not very safe to build such a high tower because it could fall down very easily. So they made a smaller tower with a wooden structure that was burned by a fire, and the dome, we can see today, was added later on in the early 17th century, but again it was designed by El Greco's son. He did a lot of works, it became a really famous one. Okay, regarding the tower, you can see it has a square body, and up there on each side we can see 2 windows. There are bells inside them, so that means there are 8 bells around. In the center of that tower we keep the largest bell in Spain. It's a mid-18th century bell, and its real name is Saint Eugene's Bell. Saint Eugene's Bell. Now I'm going to tell you the way the local people call that bell. We call it the Fat Bell. And I'm going to tell you why. That weighs 18 tons. 18,000 kilograms. It's huge, huge. But you know what happened? Something very Spanish. We made like the biggest bell in Spain. We placed it up there, and the first time they rang the bell broke. It only sounded once in history. That's how we do it in Spain. It's like saying, we're gonna make the biggest bell in the world, and finally it doesn't work. That's the Spanish way. It's true. It's still up there, totally cracked. It's impossible to fix it, and it's impossible to bring it down.
Yeah.
So it's still up there, but not in use. We call it the fat bell. I'm making fun of this, right? Okay. So if you're ready, let's get in. Come on.
Is it the McDonald's that has the flame things going off?
Oh, you're gonna say something.
So it's lunchtime here in Toledo. We're at a small little cafe called Newey's. We had just ordered soup, but I had my own fish because I usually, unfortunately, don't get fish with my host mom. But croquetas and fries. Not sure, about the same as my host mom has. Nothing I can really discern as like what is what, you know. Yeah, this fries. Very crunchy, definitely maybe 4.5 out of 5. I've heard of Puta food. Kind of sounds like a remote part in Utah, but more grounded in reality of the actual pasta, not a pasta never was. Anyways, we had a very nice lunch down there at, it was $13, menu of the day. Soup, which is the fish, you know, all fish, shrimp, all that. Main course was like croquetas, you get chicken and other meats options as well. I think there might have been a fish option, but they didn't have it today, something like that. And then dessert, and there's like, you know, fun pudding. I just got an ice cream thing, but sort of that hungry because we didn't even really finish our fries. No, that's a garage because our. Yeah, I got a little thing, just basically ice cream. I wasn't sure I was that hungry, but kind of like something you'd find like the freezer of like convenience store or at a theme park. Like maybe think back to dragster ride night.
Flashback.
Food review. Cookies.
8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. For you. So peanut butter flavors isn't really my thing.
Oh, they got peanuts in there and everything.
Cookies and cream is better.
Yeah, definitely.
End of Flashback.
Sorry, backlit battery. But now we're gonna go to the Alcazar this week. So the Jewish Quarter, the cathedral. It's basically what you need to do. Check out all 3 cultures, you know.
They were gray. They were literally display. So what, did you like bleach it? Yeah. Yeah. So no, okay, so the thing is, I bleached them on, I tried to bleach my shirt, right? And it didn't work out. And so I was like, literally like almost
Fine,
crying,
whatever.
'cause I was like,
Or smash. Absolutely.
and then it didn't work, and then I was like, okay,
So,
like,
the school over there.
Like, this is hilarious.
Is this a Solid Works?
Bridge, we were on this side, we crossed that bridge, and we did it with the minivan. We went all that way to that mirador.
Well, we've had quite a fun day here in Segovia. Enjoying the views, culture. Got a good meal out of it. Shame that Mario couldn't be around, but did a nice little live stream over on the Instagram again. Be sure to check that out. I have a second channel, Kitchen Other 2, where I post copyright-free footage. And also, I'll start ramping up more content on my TV film channel soon. Until next time, because tomorrow I'm going to party that Acciones de Saragonza, and the week after that, it's gonna be a return trip to Parque Warner. So yeah, until next time, buenas noches, buena suerte, hasta luego.